She is the pride and joy and the darling, I should say, of Thornhill. Bianca Andreescu is one of the most successful tennis players in Canada, winning a Grand Slam at the 2019 US Open, which is unheard of for a Canadian player. Beating Serena Williams, also kind of unheard of for any player. And she is taking time right now to join me from Berlin, where she is about to play yet another tournament. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. What an introduction. Love it.
Well, I could have started with what your friends call you.
Bibi. Yeah, that's
Bibi.
very true. Yes.
All right. Is that a wanted nickname?
Nothing wanted, but I grew to love it because my parents started calling me that just out of nowhere. And it was from a young age, and I always thought it was like a little childish, and I'm like trying to become I'm like, no guys, stop calling me that. But I ended up turning it into a book, so it's not that bad. I'm not complaining.
Let's talk about that book. How long has the book been out now?
Oh, a month, I think.
Only a month? Wow. Okay. And it's called, I'm looking at the book here, Bibi's Got Game, a story about tennis, meditation, and a dog named Coco. I like the title. Tell me about the book.
Yeah, so one day, I had a dream. I was about 15 years old, and I had a dream that I wrote a book. And it didn't, in the dream, like I didn't know if it was a children's book or whatever. I just knew that I wrote a book. And I told my mom the next day about it, and she's like, oh, well, why not? But at the time, obviously, I couldn't really write a book. I had not much to talk about it. But then a couple of years later, here comes, Bibi's Got Game. I have more to say. And yeah, I wanted to kind of pull from my personal story, but I wanted to create something more, universal and classic so that many people can relate, basically.
Okay, we'll get to what the book is about in just a moment, but who's it for?
It's for my family, all my lovely friends that support me, and obviously Coco, and to anybody that wants to kind of hear my story, and hopefully they can get inspired by it because I talk a lot about certain things that help me get through tough times. So that was kind of like the main purpose of writing the book.
Tell me about the tough times.
There are many tough times, especially over the last couple of years. Everybody goes through them. And for me, it kind of took a toll last year. I was going through a really tough time mentally more than physically, because physically I was very okay and I was very grateful for that. But then I don't know, something wasn't like clicking up in here. And I kind of felt like I was just going through the motions. And at one point, I thought to myself, look, this is not fair for me. This is not fair for the people around me. Even the way I was treating myself, I was very negative. And I'm like, what can I do in order to get back? And this was just a constant battle with myself. And then at one point, I just said, maybe I just need to take some time off. So I did. And that was a really good decision.
What were you feeling? And what do you attribute it to? You said something wasn't clicking, but
yeah.
Were you feeling depressed? Were you feeling anxious? Were you feeling unfulfilled?
I don't think I was depressed. I was definitely very sad at times, very confused. Definitely not satisfied with myself, with how I was treating myself, with my results, obviously. I think it came from having so much success, and then injury, and then COVID, and then I didn't play for like a year and a half because of other things. And coming back in 2021, I was still seated at tournaments. I was still top 10, but I didn't feel like I was at that level, and every time I lost, I kept identifying myself too much with that. It's like I kind of hated myself in a way. But it was super unconscious. And then at one point it just got too much. And I guess I kind of lost the unconditional love for myself that I had before and for the game.
What changed?
The time off, for sure.
Mhm.
Just staying away from the tennis court. I didn't watch any tennis. I traveled without a tennis racket for the first time in a long time, and I was kind of discovering myself. I tried new things. I did martial arts. Um, I danced a lot. I went to dance classes. I did Pilates. Like I did a bunch of stuff, and I also went on a retreat in Costa Rica. It's kind of like a yoga meditation retreat. So I did that, and that really helped me find myself again. As cliche as that sounds, but it works. I recommend for anybody to do one retreat in their lifetime.
Self-discovery.
Yes.
And is it going to stick, or is there maintenance that needs to be done?
Maintenance for sure. I've realized that once I got back in training mode, that it's not easy because I was kind of like in my own bubble at that retreat, but now I'm in the real world in a way.
Mhm.
And well, in a way, it is the real world, but um there's like so many more distractions. There's people that might not be aligned with how you think or what you believe in. So like you have to manage all of these, basically be the calmness in the storm.
What do you do to do that, to keep that maintenance? What are you doing now?
I practice a lot of self-love. I make sure to take a lot of time for myself to do the things that I love, which is meditation, yoga, Pilates, watch movies, and
Breathe.
learn, yeah, a lot of breathing. That's part of the
Yeah.
meditation, and like I'm super into manifesting things and
Mm.
affirmations and all that stuff, and it's been really, really helping.
Let's talk about manifesting. It's something I believe in strongly. What do you do? Like
So
for instance, what are you going to do? What are you going to do when you hit the courts? You're in Berlin and you're in a tournament there. What's going to be different about you hitting the court now as say 2 years ago?
very good question. So I feel like now I'm stepping onto the court with more joy for the game. I try not to take life too seriously and my career too seriously because before that's what it was, but it was in a bad way. Because obviously I need to be serious, but in a fun way now
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
compared to before. And whenever I would make a mistake before, I would get super mad at myself. But now I'm just like, you know what? It's a part of life, it's a part of the sport, just move on. And that was how I was before as well, but now it's just more consistent and it's with a bigger purpose. And
Were you playing tennis? Were you playing tennis for yourself before? Because it sounds like you're playing tennis for yourself right now. But before, were you sort of like playing for your coach, playing for your parents,
Mhm.
playing for the people back home?
It turned into that when I started feeling the way I was feeling. It definitely turned into that. And it's weird because things can change so quickly. I just lost the passion for the game, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was super weird. Um, but I mean, it's nice to go into the past and think about the past, but like I'm just super happy with how everything is now. Even going back, it's hard to even remember or even think about how I was feeling because it's just so odd to me because now I'm just like a new person.
Your birthday's this week. Happy birthday.
Thank you. 5 years.
Um, how old are you going to be? You're going to be
22.
22. And you know what? There are so many people your age who feel this way. What do you want to say to them? Because a lot of it, a lot of people don't have hope.
Mhm. For sure. And like the reason why I play tennis is for a bigger purpose in a way. I kind of use that as a platform to achieve that bigger purpose. And I'm so grateful that I was able to find that. And that is to, create something bigger after the sport. And even during my career, I want to continue to inspire and um, contribute to change in other people's lives, even if it's just a little bit, help inspire them to inspire themselves in a way, if that makes sense.
It makes a
And
lot of sense.
thank you. And the thing I can say is life is gonna be unfair at times, and that's just a given of life is what I call it. And so you really have to try to like figure out how to react in the best way possible when challenges come your way. And I mean, it sounds as simple as that, but it's so powerful. Like, if you even just look at the positive in any situation, because there's always a positive. When I look at um, something that went wrong in a way, I don't look at it as a setback or something bad. I look at it as a challenge, and just having that mindset creates a whole different environment. So that's definitely one. And another thing is try not to think what other people think about you, and just
Hmm.
do your thing and have confidence in yourself, believe in yourself. And that comes from, doing affirmations, maybe doing the things you love to do. Just, you basically have to like discover yourself in a way.
Man, and a lot of times too, and I don't know if you were like this, where you sort of sat back and say, okay, I'm not feeling great, and I need someone to change this, and I need a counselor, and I need people to pat me on the back and pick me up. But it sounds like what you discovered was, no, I'm going to pick myself up. Is that accurate?
100%, because there's not always going to be people in your corner, because another given of life is people aren't always going to be loving and supporting, sadly, but that's just human nature. And even myself, like I'm not always going to be like that, but that's, me trying to figure out my mistakes and whatnot. But just having that mindset is kind of like a good thing to keep the ball rolling in your self-love, because if you have that unconditional love for yourself, nothing anyone really does matters except
Mm.
for, what you do in a way. So if you
Yeah.
can really pick yourself up when there's nobody around, that's like one of the biggest things in life.
It's an illustrated children's book. Bibi's Got Game, a story about tennis, meditation, and a dog named Coco. Bianca Andreescu, thank you so much for this. Again, a happy birthday to you, and congratulations for this journey that you have made.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.